Am I so afraid of women that I'm always walking on eggshells? On today's episode, Ed calls me out. Every time I brought up, well, the last few episodes, every time we brought up men's issues, my first instinct was always, but what about women? He says that's a problem. And I think we're going to expand on whether or not he's right. My name is Mitch. This is Ed. This is Man We're in Trouble. Let's get this started. What's up, man? How's it going?
Bow, chicka, bow, wow. How's it going, man?
Bam. It's been a rough 2 weeks, bro, just with work. And we're getting ready to go to Paris tomorrow.
Oh, that's exciting. So is that your highlight of the week?
I'd say so. The highlight is definitely going to be Paris and going to Disney. My first time I would say my first time going to Disney, definitely not. But Anton, my son, is finally kind of aware of like all these Disney shows. So it's going to be interesting to see how he, I guess, seen the magic for the first time. So that's going to be my highlight, hopefully. But prepping for everything has been stressful as crap. So just excited to finally get there.
It's going to be really interesting that your son's first experience is going to be Le Mickey Mouse. So the next time the first time he goes to Disney is going to be in France. So when you do take him to Disney in Florida, he's going to be like, why does Mickey sound like a redneck?
But technically, we took him when he was 1 to Disney
Yeah,
World,
he's going to remember that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And then we took him to Disneyland Japan last year. And so now he's gone to 3 Disneys almost before the age of 2.
Hell yeah. Wow. That kid's traveled.
I mean, yes, just to Disney. No, we're excited. Hopefully, I know he won't remember it, but it's just, we're seeing his like brain function go, and it's been really cool. So hopefully, like, we can continue just like seeing that grow. We're gonna go again. I know that for sure because we're basically Disney adults.
Yeah, you're one of you're those millennials. It's funny you're talking about your kid because as soon as you said we're watching his brain go, my first thought, like, are you talking about your son or like your grandpa has Alzheimer's who starts eating his brain? Jesus.
At this age, it's probably the same thing.
Yeah, probably. They're both shitting in their diapers. It's all good.
That's exactly correct. What about you, man? What have you been up to the last 2 weeks?
2 highlights. My girlfriend got into school. She got an interview. She did good. So she's going to be doing a little bit of a career change. So we're doing that thing where she's going to go to school full time. It's an accelerated course. I'm going to take on the burden of all the bills. And this is going to be really weird because I'm going to be the quote unquote provider for 18 months doing everything.
Oh, man.
So this feels very patriarchal. Ooh, it's like I'm the man of the house.
Are you going to be able
I don't like
to...
it. I don't like the pressure. Monetarily, yes. Psychologically, even like we're gonna be fine. But I don't get why dudes like to be the provider. Because this is just too much pressure. Like fuck that, man. Like we both earn money. The fuck. And on that note, the other positive is that I'm refinancing my current house so that I'm even less house poor. Yeah, I'm not house poor anymore. So this is great. So I went from paying 2 mortgages to now selling the other one, refinancing this one, so I can fucking breathe now.
Nice, man.
So
that's nice. Awesome. Well,
but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. No. So all good news. And now you're ready to roast the crap out of me and debate.
Now I'm ready to
have with this episode.
This
is the serious conversation.
So
your mind is prepared. All right, let's hear it.
So friends of the cast, over the duration of this podcast, we've noticed a trend, and that is Mitch always seems to be stepping all over himself, and he goes so out of his way to constantly throw in disclaimers, and whenever an argument does not shine brightly for men, he'll agree with it, no problem. But whenever an argument shines brightly for women, or doesn't shine brightly for women, he will immediately go in defense and throw disclaimers that make men look equally bad. So there's a we've established from day one that the purpose of this is not at all to bash on women. It's to have a honest discussion from the male perspective and from the male experience about the things that we have to deal with women. Do women have to deal with shit about us? Absolutely. We also have to deal with shit about them. So
Yes.
by my point of view is that by constantly having to walk on eggshells and throw disclaimers, I think subconsciously, Mitch is kind of doing women a disservice because, in a way, you're sort of subconsciously or indirectly saying that one, they're not emotionally mature or intelligent enough to understand what it is that we're trying to say in the grand scheme of things, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and two, that there's some sort of emotional inferiority in which there are uncomfortable truths that both genders have to face. It's just life. So by having to cushion the blow for women, are we saying that they're not emotionally strong or mature to understand these things? So I want to
Mm-hmm.
start with asking Mitch, is this a conscious effort? Is this a reflex? Do you think about it?
Yeah.
Is it like I say something that's not immediately flattering? Go. What does your brain do?
Okay. So I've been racking my brain about this issue for a while now because I think it's important for us to talk about men's issues from a men's perspective. At the same time, yes, I automatically go to, okay, is this going to sound misogynistic? Does it sound like I hate women? Does it sound like we hate women? Does it sound like we're red pill? And I want to make sure that whatever we say doesn't automatically come off as misogynistic or hateful towards women. And it automatically resorts to that because I want to make sure we don't become another one of those red pill misogynistic douchebags out in the ether of the internet. I think that's kind of like that was what the initial goal for this podcast was anyways, is to like talk about men's issues, not in a toxic way. So I think I've been trying to straddle the line between like what does that look like? You brought up a good point though, in that if we make the assumption that when we talk about these issues about men, that women don't have the emotional intelligence to know that we're talking about men's issues and we're not misogynistic. I think my fear though too is that we're so new still that women don't know us. They don't know who we are. And so I always have to have that disclaimer until more people know who we are and what we stand for. And so that's why I think like I'm trying to find that balance and I don't think I found it yet.
So then you're making a conscious effort to constantly make the disclaimers for the sake of our female audience.
I'm making a constant effort for disclaimers for our female audience and to protect us.
Okay. Who's our target audience for this podcast? Who do you truly want to reach with this podcast?
The goal is to reach men. Yes.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't disagree, but
So
my thought process.
but shouldn't we then make sure that our discourse is more geared to make sure that men feel like we're understanding them instead
Mhm.
of constantly stepping on our dicks, ensuring that women don't feel like we're being unflattering to them? Because the truth of the matter is, we're going to be unflattering about some things. Because
Yes.
if
I,
we've made it clear that neither of the genders here are perfect, and women have made it crystal clear that we have plenty of flaws that are plenty of are valid. So
yes. Right. I don't disagree
is
with that.
is so are is speaking of the less flattering side of women, does that automatically mean that does that automatically come off like we hate them?
I think if we don't put forth a conscious effort in learning in and understanding how our words mean things and how we might say something that might be seen as negative or hurtful or hateful, if we don't do our best to try, like if we don't do our best to have a conscious effort in how we speak, then we're losing the point of how we become healthier in how we discuss issues.
Do you
Because
see
again, I think
do you see this discourse from the women's side being equally as conscious about how they come off to men?
they no, because they don't need to.
They don't need to.
I don't think they do.
W- So you don't see a problem with whenever a young man sees women saying men are trash.
No, that in that sense, no. I think 100% that is that's a negative thing, and that should be stopped, arguably.
Okay, so here's my point, and here's one of my points is: do you agree that one of the like a fact that gets thrown around a lot when it comes to the differences between young men and young women is, and I'm
Hmm.
sure you've heard this, is, and it's all over media and news, and it's how quote unquote studies show that women mature younger than men, than boys, or girls
Okay. Okay.
grow up or mentally develop faster than boys.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So this gets used as the foundation of the idea that women are more emotionally mature than men.
Hmm.
Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So parting from those two premises, if we go back to the original question of should women not should women be equally as conscious about how they speak, then wouldn't the if 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 women are being seen as the emotionally mature and intelligent half of this intergender conversation that's happening, wouldn't that then mean that they should be the ones mentally aware that or the empathetic ones and know that your words mean things? So
So I
shouldn't
think
they also make a conscious effort to reach us in the same way that they believe that we should be reaching them? Like if I have to watch the way I speak in order to get that
mhm,
message across to them, why is that not an equal bar or standard for them?
because it's the chicken or the egg argument. Is it the actions of men and the actions of and the words that we've said before the cause of women feeling like they are being unheard originally, or is it the actions of women that caused the red pill? And I think you can go back and forth throughout history pointing the fingers at one another.
But
Ultimately, men are the ones that have created the red pill. Men created the red pill. And men are
why?
the red pill is the one that's causing the issues of these I think arguably violent and misogynistic, the majority of the violent and misogynistic talking points that men are dealing with. I
But
think that
why
is
do you
why,
believe why did the red pill come about to begin with?
because the red pill was
Because men
created
feel
because men
unheard.
felt unheard. Sure, yes, I
Right.
agree.
So wouldn't that then mean that part of the problem is that women aren't listening to men too? Because what we're trying to do
Is
now,
it?
I see like what you're trying to do is defend one point by trying to go back enough to assign blame to one
Mhm.
side. Now, this is like
Is it? Is it? No, no, no. Or so think about it this way: is it? I'll push back on this. Is it caused because men felt unheard, or sorry, was the red pill created because men felt unheard, or was it created because men were lazy and they didn't want to do the work to understand what women are dealing with?
why
And it
are
was
men
late.
the only ones to blame? Like this is the classic example of women escaping accountability. Why
I
is it
don't.
only men's responsibility? Again, why is it
It's not.
entirely our response? You're implying it. You're literally implying it. You're assigning all
Okay.
blame to men. That's exactly what you're
I
doing.
don't. Okay, I don't want it to come off like that. You're right. It's not all men. It's not
This is
all men,
this
or
is
it's not
listen,
all us.
you and I had a lot of deep religious discussions in college while we were there, and how we discovered our atheism and all that. And one of the big negatives around Catholicism, which is the religion that I grew up with, was the idea of the original sin. That I was born a sinner until I was saved. So you're telling some fucking Gen Z, Gen A, Gen Alpha kid today who hasn't systemically oppressed a woman that he's just automatically like part of the problem, as opposed to just coming anew. You're automatically
Mhm,
assigning this victimhood to a woman the same way you're assigning this perpetrate. You're accusing somebody of just by virtue of being it. So
mhm.
is
I don't.
is that fair
I
to
don't
a
think.
young man? Like,
No, men. No, you're correct. Men should not automatically be blamed for something that they didn't have any. If they obviously, I don't think men should automatically be blamed. I think the issue
but you're
comes
doing it.
down to no, 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 no.
But you're
The,
assigning
what
you're
I'm
assigning the accountability to all men. Like, you're saying that it's on us to make sure the conversation happens. But again,
because it's everyone's job. It's our job. Think of it this way. Think of it this way. Okay, if I grew up in Germany, all right, if I was a German that grew up after Nazis in World War II, and
mhm,
I didn't learn from the past of what happened in the past, does that give me
sure.
a get out of jail free card for saying Nazis are okay? Does that give me a get out of jail free card for saying that, hey, I don't care about the Jews and what happened from because I wasn't born back then? It's the
No,
same concept of
you're implying that today a young man can be born after all the shit that women have had to endure throughout history, and you're assuming that they're for it. So your son can be born now, and you're assuming that
uh,
he's going to say, "Huh, maybe women shouldn't vote. Huh, maybe she should stay at home, barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen." So, like,
no, no, no,
what
that's
I'm
not the argument that I'm
what
trying to
you're saying,
make.
but the argument you're trying to make is that it's on us to make the conversation. But okay, so again, so we go back, and what is an essential? What are the two essential components of the conversation? The speaker and the receiver. So if the onus is on you and I as men to make the conversation happen, do women not bear some responsibility for being an active, empathetic, and present listener?
They
A
100%
conversation can't
do.
happen,
They
right?
100% do.
So
Agreed.
so so if you agree,
Yes.
so if men have to be the speakers and women have to be the listeners, and men are gravitating to the red pill because they don't feel like they're being listened to,
Hmm.
connect the dots.
I also think, though, it is our okay. We might not feel heard. Women, yeah, absolutely, they should. We we don't
You're
have the same
struggling to
brains.
say,
We don't.
you
No,
are
we don't have the same
struggling
brains.
to say, you're struggling to come to the realization that when there's two parties to a problem that hasn't been fixed, when all the blame is put on one side, that they do bear some of the responsibility. The
No, I
entire point
agree
of
with
this
you.
podcast is for us to be like, we're trying to show men that they're being like, no, dude, you're not like, you're being gaslit. You're not fucking crazy. Women aren't perfect
Hmm.
either. We don't hate them. Don't go into the red pill. Don't treat her like a piece of meat, but she ain't perfect. Don't put her on a pedestal. Treat her like a
Hmm.
human. But guess what? She's
Yes,
imperfect too. But the conversation breaks down when we talk about their flaws. The conversation breaks
I
down when
think
we talk about the negatives of the other side.
I
When we
just
know
want to
that
make.
that doesn't happen when they have the same conversation over there.
I just want to make sure that the discussion is being had from the men's perspective about the if there's an issue that we think is concerning about men and what men are dealing with, I think we should do our homework when it comes to that specific topic. If there's a reason as to why women are acting the way they are, they're saying the things that they are saying that is caused by men. If there isn't one, or if the argument that the opposite side is making doesn't necessarily make sense, we should definitely bring it up.
You're being, again, subconsciously misogynist by inherently implying that all accountability always falls on men. So are we the only ones on earth with agency? So we are the
No,
ones that make all decisions and are ultimately responsible for everything. Women aren't equally conscious human beings with agency who can make decisions and face consequences for their own actions.
no, I think
So,
we
like, you're
lose the plot.
implying it's like if a man cheats on a woman,
Mm-hmm.
it's his fault. But if I were to tell you
Yeah,
that when a woman cheats on a man, you're going to sit here
that's
and
also her
tell
fault. That's
me,
her fault. No, that's her fault.
well, you made her.
No, no, I'm not saying that at all.
You are. You
That is
are.
still, that's still, no. I'm saying, okay. No, I'm not. Because that is still her fault for doing the action. I'm not victim blaming. I'm not trying to victim blame the man and saying that, oh, he's the problem as to why she cheated.
You're
Just
victim
like
blaming men inherently by assigning all accountability to men.
no, I'm saying that if we don't understand the problem, we are not doing it ourselves justice in that we're understanding the entirety of the situation.
Right. Right.
I'm not saying yes, we hold both sides accountable. We have to still
No,
do
we
that. There's
don't.
still probably why?
We don't. You
Then
don't.
we lose.
Every time there's a problem, you put the blame on dudes. Do better. Like half of your episodes, everything comes to like, we got to do better, guys.
No, I think it's because some men don't necessarily understand what they're doing wrong. And I'm trying to come at like the solution to the problem from a more healthy angle. So like, let's say there's
So
an issue being said. There's an issue that a man is dealing with. You have the red pill solution of like, oh, women bad, obviously something along those lines. What I'm trying to do is come at it from a healthy angle of saying, hey, this is wrong. Why is this wrong? And what can we do better so that, hey, X, Y, and Z? That's why I was trying to come at that angle from it. And it might
right,
sound
but
like you're,
we're failing at the primary directive of listening to guys.
okay, but we
If
we
your
can listen to
predisposition
guys.
is immediately to already assign all blame to the guy, because you're putting all accountability on behalf of the men. So even when
No,
we
we should
like,
still be
let's look at it this way.
we should still be calling out. We should still be calling out women if they're the ones doing something wrong, too.
But when
100%.
I call them out, you white knight. That's what I'm talking about. You don't call them out. This is what we're having this intervention. This is what
Oh,
we're having this
I
intervention.
don't call them
We're,
out.
I'm stealing your white knight helmet away from you. You don't. You go at their defense every time. Why do you feel like you need to go like if men were in trouble is a space for men to have honest discussions about things that bother us, about the other sex in a way where we capture an audience
Mm.
for trying to stop them from falling in what we would consider the claws of the red pill. Why are you so not predisposed to defend the guy? Why are you not predisposed to make a better effort to see things from their angle as opposed to immediately try to assign all accountability to them?
Because
I
I'm
understand,
trying to find a balance of
but you're
like
not.
the message
But you're
on both
not.
sides.
In order for there to be a balance, then you have to also explore the other half of the equation, and you won't take the
Mm-hmm.
suit of armor off.
I
You won't get off your
But I
horse and get
agree
dirty.
with
We're having difficult, dirty conversations. We're talking about things that aren't great.
So you don't think that there are issues that men bring up, that men feel like they're unheard about, that maybe they're wrong? You don't think that that's
100%.
you don't think that they're wrong on anything? If they feel
No, no,
unheard.
no, there are definitely things where they can be wrong about, but I
Uh-huh.
also understand that I can be more empathetic to their angle, even if they're wrong, because then it's easier to bring them around when you show empathy, like, hey, you might be wrong about this, but I can see why you're
Uh-huh.
there. I can see what brought
Yeah.
you to that.
Right. But what I'm
I
saying, so like
don't,
let's say
I feel like I don't see you connecting those dots, because I feel like to you, connecting those dots is an admission that there is validity to their point. And if we see validity to the point of something that affects a guy that may not be flattering to women, that is then accepting that there's something negative about women, and then you just put the helmet back on.
I just want to make sure that whenever we bring up something that men feel unheard about or men are dealing with specific issues, that we're not also granting them a hall pass for getting away with actual potentially negative behavior, counterproductive behavior, even though we are listening to them. And I just want to make sure, and that's why. So sometimes when we were reading some of these Reddit stories and we were bringing up certain things, I'm pretty sure we did a good job with calling out both the counterproductive or negative women's perspectives of like whatever the girl brought up, and then whenever a guy brought up something and he was clearly in the wrong, like we brought that up, and that was an issue. I think that's like an easier thing. We're talking about like some of these things that like I'm white knighting. We're talking about hypothetical issues that I
Sure.
think it makes it a little bit more difficult to convoluted for me to like have a solid answer, because I just want to make sure that these hypothetical problems that men feel unheard of, that it's not automatically assumed that we're trying to give a hall pass for all men. We're just, like you said, we're just trying to bring up how some men feel unheard, that they that they're coming at it from a point of what's the word? They're not trying to come at it from a negative. What's the
For
word? I can't
malice.
think of the word. Yes, they're not coming at it from a
So
point of malice.
what would happen if, in your opinion, what happens, like, what is the importance of not giving men this hall pass?
What do you mean? Say it one more time.
Like, why do you feel the need to make sure that men are not given a hall pass in order to express their feelings freely?
Because I think it's always assumed that they get a hall pass.
In what way? Why? In what? As to what?
Like the man is always right. The man is like, a lot of men automatically assume that because they're the man, they automatically are right.
I could say the
And
exact same thing the other way whenever we hear shit, happy wife, happy life, or how it's like societally acceptable in the West for women to be online and say shit like men are trash, and the comments are all Yas Queen. And I don't see the same
Mhm.
fervor from you to squash that toxic messaging from the other side. If anything, I see you trying to justify it, and you're giving them a hall pass
Mm,
because patriarchy. So
no, I
it's
I don't mean
almost
it to
like
come
you're
off
holding
that
them
way.
to a lower standard in a way.
I'm holding women to a lower standard.
Yeah, because you hold, like,
Mm.
we are the ones that have to take accountability for everything. Whenever a problem shows up, like, the onus is always on
No,
how is
I
it our
think
fault?
I think it's super healthy for men to support other men, and men to come together and support one another about like being a good dad or being a good husband or being a good father figure, inspiration, or a leader. I think it's super important for that to happen. I think what I've seen online sometimes is that when men try to do that from a negative, like in a toxic way, it's usually at the expense of someone else. And that's what I'm trying
But that
to
but
negate.
that's a human thing, because women, like, toxic women can do the same exact thing.
Correct, and they shouldn't
at
do
the
that. I
expense of
think
men.
yes, we should 100%. Women should be called about if they're doing that at the expense of someone else. They should be called out on it too, because that's a toxic, negative behavior. And no, I agree. Again, I think I'm coming at it from an angle of like I'm trying to be different from. Okay, you are calling out men's issues, right? Like we are wanting to bring up men's issues.
Yeah.
How do you think we come at it or solve the problem in a healthy way? How do you think we do that? What is the best way to do that?
I think first and foremost, we have an honest discussion about it. We've already at the beginning of this whole project made it clear what the goal is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
What is the
W-
goal?
w-
Let's what is the
to
goal that you think?
my perspective of what the goal of this podcast was is men, we are in trouble. We're listening
Mm-hmm.
to men. The overarching question is, why are men in trouble? Why are they
Yeah.
falling into these toxic spaces? Why are men falling behind in society? Like what's going on? I came to
Yeah.
the conclusion at the beginning of this that we're not listening to them. Hence why we started
Okay.
the podcast, to have the discussion. So
Okay. Yeah.
somebody can have a problem and somebody can express themselves about that problem in a not necessarily flattering way. Maybe it can come
Mm-hmm.
off toxic, but if we're having the discussion with the end goal of finding a genuine solution that's not to denigrate or put women down, or the goal is to treat each other as equally, the goal is to burden men of
Mm-hmm.
our societal expectations the same way feminism has deburdened women of theirs. We're going to have difficult discussions. But if we're having
Yes.
difficult discussions with the purpose of finding healthy answers, then we have to be willing to step in mud sometimes. Say, hey, men feel this way.
Sure.
This is why. This isn't flattering, but this is
Okay.
why. If I can understand why you're getting there, then I can better reach you. I can better empathize with you. And then we can find a better solution than
Right.
women are trash.
And
All two, welcome to the red pill. Fuck
right.
every woman you can. And, they're just monkeys with a vagina. Like they can't, well, like women have no agency, man. Like just,
So I think I
to
know
not see them subhuman.
the gap, because you're asking the question, asking them like the why. I automatically jump to
Mm-hmm.
what I think a solution is, in the
I
sense
think
of
your solution finding is extremely idealistic.
yes, I would agree, but I think that's what I'm doing. So and I should take a step back. I should definitely start with what's the problem? Men don't feel heard. All right. The why don't we feel heard? Talk about that. I need to take a step back and wait, and then we can come up with potential solutions in a non-toxic way. I think I was trying to come at it from a different angle as to like the why we don't feel heard, or like why we might be doing what we're doing. And my solution wasn't necessarily coming at it from a point of like the men's help perspective. Because yes, like you said, it comes off like I'm attacking men. I didn't mean to come off that way.
Yeah, I think the thing is you're not listening to guys, because you immediately want to jump to the, we'll fix it. It's like, well, listen to the guy. Like
Yeah. I am immediately coming to
that's
yes, correct. I'm trying to fix it immediately. Like, oh,
yeah.
this is the easy solution. This is your problem. Well, have you thought about this? I'm like, well, you're not listening to me. You're automatic. Yeah, you're right.
Well,
I'm
and
doing that.
again, like this is supposed to be the space for me. Like, look, dude, you're not crazy. Like, women like to
Mhm.
say men are trash, and that's fucked up. Doesn't that mean that some women are trash too? Some are. Yeah, they're they're
Yeah.
just as flawed as we are. And the
Mhm.
problem is society seems to whitewash women a lot. And when you try to reveal the reality that women aren't perfect in an attempt to find like a healthy solution to that, they can automatically come off as this dude's a fucking misogynist. He's a woman hater. Like, no, like I'm trying to treat you
Yeah.
like an equal. Like that, what's fair for you
Yeah.
is also fair for me.
I think I was just trying to come from a bring perspective from the opposite side, but then with me doing that, it comes off like I'm not listening to the man's side. I think that's what's been happening. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm automatically trying to bring perspective in the fear of coming off as misogynistic.
Why are you
And
afraid of that?
it's because I don't want to come off as misogynistic.
Do
Like, I
you
feel
think
like that's a
women are
normal
afraid
thing
of
to
coming?
not.
No, I don't think so. Do you think women are afraid of coming off as misandrist whenever they speak freely about how they feel about men? So
I don't
is
know.
that
I don't
natural?
know. I don't know if some
I
do or
don't think
some
so.
don't.
In my lived experience, I've never felt like women talk to me walking on eggshells with disclaimers to come off as making sure that they don't come off as man haters. If anything, the opposite.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
think
fair when you're trying to have a genuine conversation about intergender dynamics?
no, it's not fair. It's not fair because
So
it
then do
hurts a
you
lot of guys'
think
feelings
that's
and guys
yeah,
feel yeah, no,
yeah.
agreed.
So so
It hurts guys'
do you
feelings.
think do you think a productive conversation can be had while one side is walking on eggshells and the other one is blatantly saying whatever the fuck they feel like, regardless of how what they're saying is landing in the other person's ear?
You cannot have a decent, regular, normal conversation if one is walking on eggshells and the other's automatically assuming the other's misogynistic for not saying the right thing. Cannot.
So let me conclude this with two questions.
Okay.
Do men need to shift their messaging to women in the way that we express how we feel? And follow-up question, and or do you think women need to do a better job of listening to us?
I think both can be true simultaneously. I think that I think we need to do a better job at talking about man's issues and not just assuming. I think we need to bring up man's issues in a way that are
That don't upset them?
that don't upset women.
Okay. So then in what way?
No, hold on. Let me think this through.
Mm, I
Let me think
see.
this.
I see eggshells around your feet right now. This is what I
No, no,
mean.
no, no, no,
This is what I
no, no,
mean.
no. It's not. It's not eggshells. It's not eggshells. Okay, so your two questions are: should men talk about men's issues
Differently.
differently for
And
women to understand?
yeah. So
For women to
should
understand
we
or for men to understand?
both? Well, in this case, primarily for women.
Yeah. But is this podcast a discussion for more men to understand the problem or for women to understand our problems?
I
That's the
think
other that's the other thing too. I think it's different. It's
I think
our questions or answers are different depending on who our audience is.
sure. For the sake of the podcast, for you and I think it is
Uh-huh.
important for us to have these discussions in a way that reach men better. But I feel like by virtue of coming at these from the perspective of being guys and heterosexual men who interact with and have been in relationships with women, like that will come naturally. I
Uh-huh.
think that the conversation as a whole will revolve around our collective experience of having this conversation with the opposite sex. So, how do we
Okay.
feel this conversation is also coming across to them? Because we can all circle jerk each other here and be like, damn, fellas, are ladies listening to us about XYZ? Nah, man, right? Okay, so what can we say? Cool. Now we can be like, okay, for those of us that have had that conversation, how has it gone? Hey, I've had XYZ topic issue. This is how it's going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we're having negative experiences with the opposite sex, the other part of this conversation is, hey man, you're not crazy. It's not all your fault, because sometimes when we do the thing right, they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
society tries to gaslight and put all accountability on the guys. And part of this podcast is also saying, like, you're right and she's wrong too sometimes.
Yeah.
And we can have that
Yeah.
conversation in a non women hatey, way. Like, just because I said she's wrong, and women can be wrong, and women can be toxic, and women can be shitty
Mm-hmm.
listeners, and women can be shitty spouses, and not all women are extremely mature emotionally. That is not saying she needs to be at home, barefoot, pregnant, in the kitchen, and lose her voting rights and lose her ability to have fuck vag pills to not give birth, whatever the fuck those are called. Contraceptives. Shit, I couldn't find the word.
Do that over again. Say that whole thing
Yeah,
over again.
but dude, I can't. I just
But bottom line, what you're saying is that just because we're calling out certain negative behaviors that women do, not all women are perfect, not all women say the right things, not all women understand and listen men all the time, doesn't automatically say that we're misogynistic and we want women to do, like, not have access to abortion, not have their health care, not have like the right to vote or anything like that. That's basically
right.
what you were
No,
saying.
yeah, that's
Yes.
like Mitch. You are my friend. I care about you. If you're doing something fucked up and wrong, I'm not gonna be an enabler. I'm gonna tell you, like, stop doing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of this is, that when somebody that cares about you is giving you that constructive criticism, is coming from a good place. I'm
Yeah.
trying to posit that I'm doing the same thing. It's like, ladies, you're not
Mm-hmm.
listening to us. It's like, men don't have, historically had spaces to express themselves freely. We suck at expressing our feelings. And part of that is nature and nurture. We're taught to just bottle that shit up inside. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I want to see less battered women's shelters by virtue of, how about instead of saying men are trash, we attack the problem from the root and teach men how to express themselves in a healthy way. Because a man that
Yeah.
expresses himself in a healthy way emotionally is not a man that beats his
Mm-hmm.
fucking wife to a pulp. And part of that is a woman who's willing to listen and empathize with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is a huge problem now. That is like my crux of this whole podcast. Is it makes me angry when society just paints an entire gender of men as just cavemen and women as these emotionally
Yeah.
and cognitively superior beings, because it's not actually leading to anything
Yeah.
good. It doesn't.
Yeah. It, yeah. No, I agree. I think part of me too was trying to help men find solutions to a lot of them don't know how they should be acting to get women to be attracted to them, to get to be healthy, to have that healthy discussion, to have healthy hobbies and be confident in themselves. And I think I was trying to think of different ways of, like, hey, what other men that are out there on social media, on the internet, in the ether of humanity that arguably women find super attractive, and like, what do those guys do? And like, I think we should like be talking about that as well. Like, for like, Robert Irwin's out there, or like oh gosh, there's like two guys on TikTok that women are just falling all over themselves. One guy reads books. Gosh, I think his name's Andrew. The other guy's like
I think
Thorin. He's doing the axe guy. But it's just like stuff like that. Like, it's very clear that like what they do, and they're coming at it from a healthy side of like talking about things and being passionate about stuff. And I think, like, if men were to actually do the things that women find attractive and they like see the comment section, then Like, I think men would be so much better off if they're not shy and like, and they think,
I
oh,
think
I got to
that's
do the
you
manly
again being
stuff.
idealistic.
It's not. I don't
Just
think
do the things
so.
she likes. Mitch, just do the things she likes. Duh.
Yeah.
This is why you're not getting girls. Just do the things she likes.
Well,
There you go. We
why is
fixed
that
men.
not? But so that's that. But what does she like?
I think that is another problem. That's a whole nother
What?
discussion that we will
What?
attack on next time.
Wait, what are we going to attack next time?
What do women want?
What do okay, I like that. I think
What do
so.
women
We're gonna
want?
be. Oh, okay. So
That's about as good
I
as a
like it.
segue topic as it gets.
What do women want? I love it. No, I think that's perfect. This episode was no.
So
I
to
like that
wrap
segue.
this discussion up, based on the last thing you said, you focus more whenever we try to find a solution to a problem. You focus more on what men can do for themselves, and I focus more on understanding that the other half of the equation, in this case, women, also have to play a role in the solution of the collective.
Yes, I think
I
that's
can
a
agree
good
with
way
you
of how
if
to
you
do
can
it.
agree with me.
I agree with you. I
Okay,
agree with you
air
on this one.
handshake, air handshake, air handshake. That's not. Oh my God, you're so white. Jesus Christ, stop. That's not a handshake. Why are you high five?
Handshake.
You're hitting.
Handshake.
You're hitting my fingers from the front with your high five, and it hurts.
All right.
Let's get the man with book
finish this
club.
up. Let's man with book club really quick. All right, you're reading a new book.
Yes.
What is it? What is it?
Well, I just went to Machu Picchu, so I'm reading The Last Days of the Incas, and it is the story of Francisco Pizarro in the 1530s in first landing in Peru, and how they encountered this massive Inca empire, and how just a couple hundred Spaniards take over the entire southern tip of South America. And it's an awesome narrative. They do a really good job of giving you the insight from the Spaniard side and from the Inca side. And I feel like it's very honest because he gives both flattering and unflattering critiques from both sides. And if you've been to Peru, read it because then you can visualize everything they talk about. And if you haven't been, amazing country. So throw it in your list of travels. The Last Days of the Incas. What about you?
It sounds like colonialism in Spain.
It is, but it's fun.
All right, I'll take a look at that. Well, I will. I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl in that series. Fantastic, and I cannot wait till the next one comes out. The next book comes out, but I gotta probably wait like a year or two. But I actually just finished Discount Dan. It's another lit RPG, similar to Dungeon Crawler Carl. It took a minute for me to kind of like shift my mind to like think about this new book. But the Discount Dan he goes into the back rooms. He has to go through all these levels and survive the back rooms. Basically, he's an ex-Marine. I think the author is also an ex-Marine, so you can tell with his words that he is definitely in the military. So again, it took a little bit for me to kind of wrap my head around the new universe because I was so into Dungeon Crawler Carl, but I already finished book 3 in a matter of a week and a half. And so I'm just now patiently waiting for the next book. But yeah, that's what I was reading.
So. Yeah. I'm in that crisis mode where I'm in the last chapter of my book and I don't know what to read next. I have way too many options, but I'm in my middle-aged white man phase of reading military history. So it is what it is.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm not there quite yet, but
because that's what bitches want.
So I agree with you there. But yeah, all right, man. Well, are you still reading your book, or are you?
I got like 50 pages left, so we'll see.
Oh damn! Do you know what you're gonna read next?
Nope, I literally just said that. Are you even listening to me? God.
No,
see,
I'm
this
not.
is what we're having.
Sorry.
This fucking
I was
podcast.
I was reading your WhatsApp. We're 54 minutes in.
You're a bad producer. You're a bad producer. Man, we're in trouble.
Not my fault. You can't see the timer here. All right. Give me like 3 seconds. All right.
Wait, did we say officially goodbye or no? Like and subscribe.
No, we didn't say goodbye yet.
All right.
Hold on. Wait. Not ready
People
yet.
aren't gonna listen to this.
Hold on.
This is why we don't have listeners, Mitch.
Guys, I gotta close it out. I gotta close it out. I'm trying to figure out where the hell.
I blame women.
Oh,
I think it's the patriarchy.
you think it's the patriarchy? Now I'm
Are we
trying to
done
figure out
talking yet?
where. No. I'm trying to do the closeout. Trying to do the closeout.
So you trying to close out so you can start calling females again?
Hate you.
I even told you to keep an eye on the fucking timer.
I know. We're right on time, bro. We're right on time. All right. Are we done,
Yes,
bro?
a 30-minute podcast is 55 minutes.
No, it's perfect. It's within an hour. That's what we wanted. All right. Hey, guys. So before we leave, we'd like to end it with this question now. Ed, are we still in trouble?
Fuck yeah, you are.
I'm always going to be in trouble. I'm going to get hate from both sides, men and women.
You deserve it. Go peel some eggs.
Bro. All right. Hey, so if y'all made it this far, thank you very much for being here. Whether we helped you, confused you, made you angry, or gave you something to argue about, that is the goal. Hey, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share all that stuff. We're on everything. Links below. See y'all next time on Man, We're in Trouble. See ya.